What up? Good morning. Happy Thursday. Um, this is a milestone for me. It's, like I didn't set out for like like a gang of views or fucking any of that shit. I don't even care if I get a like. I've had like 2 comments on here. I guess 3. There's some in the back I don't know about because I was looking at my studio thing. Like I don't ever look at it. I just post and go. Right? So I thought I only had 2 comments, and yeah. Anyways, there's some shit in there I didn't even notice, or if I did, I don't remember. But, anyways, I didn't set out for that. This was my journal when I got clean, in 2020. Before getting clean, so a little backstory. Before I got clean, I would just write. I'd be at fucking the dealership I was at writing, and I was just trying to write myself to sanity. And I have I don't have that because like for some reason I was writing and then my phone ended up missing. And so, or I lost my phone, we'll just call it that because, obviously that's a trigger for me. But, all that fucking shit writing was gone. And so when I got clean in 2020, right out of treatment, I was just journaling. And I was getting myself through stuff, which is on here. Like, well, it's on my phone. It's in my iCloud notes. And I would write, like, I'd wake up at like 3:45 in the morning, and I'd be like, fuck, man, it's going on again, and this and that, and all this bullshit. And, where is she, and what's going on, and why am I the only one who has this, all this shit. And I just wrote all that shit, right? And I did it, like I wrote, I'd wake up sometimes and I'd be like, fuck, I had a bad dream, and I'd write about the dream, and I'd write gratitudes to get me to go back to sleep. I just did that for a year straight. And then like I kind of paused the writing, and then I got loaded again, and then right out of treatment, like I didn't want to write while driving and I didn't want to pull over. So then I decided, okay, I'll just do a video. And then I did another one and another one and another one, talked to my son, and he was like, why don't you, because I was like, fuck, dude, my phone's going to either run out of memory or I'm going to lose my phone because of that last trigger. And my son came up with this whole idea of create a YouTube channel, put it on YouTube. And hence, this got created. And this is my 500th video. Which, 2 years, like going on 2 years. And I went through some stuff recently. If you've been watching, or if anybody's been watching, I got to a point where I'm like, well, that's it, I'm done. I'm gonna only do like fucking 11 more, and I had this countdown, and then I thought to myself, oh man, this shit is, well, I've talked about that. So this is a milestone for me. For me personally, it's my own personal milestone. Could give a fuck if anybody gives a fuck about it, but it's a personal milestone for me. So I'm really happy that I got to this. It's a lot, and I've really talked myself off of cliffs, worked through some stuff, and kind of just went into how it's going to, like what's going on with me. Just some of it is to motivate myself. A lot of it I'm talking to myself, building that relationship with myself. And so I'm really, really happy. I dropped the kids off at daycare. Try not to say names on here. And she just smiled at me. We talked for a second. This is helping her out. Like, my kids are the only kids there, and she gets paid. And, we talked about future stuff, and I remember, being all fucked up. It'd be a Monday, so I don't have work, and all Sunday, I was terrible. And I drop them off, and like try not to make eye contact, try not to fucking engage with her too much, and I was talking to my boss yesterday, and just telling him, like, fuck, man, I come in there, like, didn't get loaded, but I'd be withdrawing, sweaty, fucking scared. And he was like, dude, I couldn't really tell, bro. He's like, you could kind of tell something was up with you, but like, you just look stressed. And like, in these 500 videos I've done, you know, like, you don't get out of treatment and fucking everything is just great. You get out and it's like fucking, now it's scary. You get out and it's like fucking, you still got that other shit going on. Like, you left, so you went to a place where they bubbled you, and then you get out and it's like, holy shit, man, the world. What am I gonna do? You know, like, and I work in the industry where like I gotta come out and be on point. Like, to work at my place, like, to just get there and have a seat, like to grab that seat. I see a lot of people come in and they apply, they don't get that seat. They seem squared. They're squared away. They don't have my problems. So like, for me to still have that fucking seat all these years later, you know, and I've been through divorce, separation, drugs, rehab, all of it, to still have that motherfucking seat. And then like, I did a review recently, like a week ago. I was fucked up, man. And I, you know, like it's like an inventory review. They're trying something new. So like, hey, what are some good points about you and what are some of the negatives? And they went over each category. And as I was going through it, my boss filled one out for me and I filled one out for myself. It looked like step work. And like, just the things that he said about me being a floor leader, you know, about people looking up to me on that fucking floor, about how I can turn anything into a deal. Like, I know how to make fucking deals happen, you know, and like, all of it, you know. Sometimes I give myself too much credit, and other times I don't give myself any credit. And I remember the owner of the company one time, she came over to me. You know, I had 9 months or some shit. You know, and like, she walked over to me and she was like, you gotta celebrate the wins you can get. You know, we have to celebrate all of our wins. And I'll fucking downplay my wins, so I try not to look too good, and then I'll try to look too good, and it ain't even a fucking win. You know? Or it is a win, but it's like, whatever. And I just, the sun is out. I love this time of year more than ever, because I remember last year, this time of year, you know, I was like fucking fresh. What, 7 months in? Off of some bullshit. Living in an Oxford house, basically. Trying fucking everything to like live in an Oxford house, pay for that, pay for the fucking other house, keep the cars, keep all the shit, the insurances, everything, fucking 2 of everything, just like my divorce, you know, and child support, you know, just everything. And today, you know, like, I'm not sitting here tripping that my lights are going to get turned off. I'm not sitting here tripping like, how am I going to afford Oxford and that house? Let alone, like, well, you know, never mind. I don't need to put that on here. Both kids, like, all our kids have 2 clean parents that have over a year clean. Fucking doing our fucking best. I got fucking friends in my life that are fucking, I don't have a shit ton of friends. I have some bullshit on TikTok and, you know, Instagram. Like, I don't know any of them people. Half of them are bots. Most of them on, like, I think all my friends on TikTok, with the exception of a couple, are bots. That's a funny story. Fuck, when this all started, man, I got on some shit called Threads, and I was, you know, I talked to this girl, I thought, for like fucking till 2 a.m. came to work, and like I woke up, went to the gym, and like I had like fucking 15 ads, people added me. I was like feeling real good, and like one person was recently from like a separation, the other person had a divorce with kids, the other person worked in sales. I'm like, this is my whole story broken down. What we learned. But today I can sit here and have a conversation, you know, with Miss whoever who fucking took care of my kids. It speaks volumes when somebody will fucking take care of my kids and I'm stressed the fuck out. Volumes. Without needing anything in return. That fucking goes a long way with me. Especially, anyways. But, I can get fucking nostalgic and sit here for like fucking 30 seconds and just be in a moment. You know? I can also get here, I can also sit here and be fucking like 3 minutes of fucking like, what the fuck's gonna happen next? You know, I was thinking about yesterday and how I got some information that I didn't like. I didn't like what I heard. It's other person's information. And how it kind of derailed me for a second. I was like upset. Like I didn't ask for that. And then Les Brown says that a positive stroke, somebody say something positive to you, can help you go so far. But a negative stroke can set you back so deep. So it's really important, you know, like if people are gonna, you know, like, and I'm not really upset. I understand, you know, this person was probably just trying to help me. I took it really personally, and I think the most important thing is to not take it personally. How do I not take the positive thing personally either? That shit fucking gleamed me. But I had a good conversation with a friend of mine. Like yesterday was such an amazing day. It was great. There are people in my life right now that have helped me, you know, help better my life. I fucking thank you for that. Like, I thank you for that. I was driving the kids to daycare, and I had this overwhelming feeling of joy. And I just thought, fuck, man. Just that in itself is a win. I've been tripping so much on like what could happen, what didn't happen, all of that, that sometimes it's really good to just be sitting there, the sun hits your face, and you're like, yeah. And in like my active addiction, I didn't have that. I was too busy, like, every time I'd turn, I'd move the visor. So if somebody did look into the car, they could make eye contact with me because they knew what I was doing. That PTSD from that, man, you know, I can sit here and say I'd never go away, but I haven't made eye contact with somebody in a car in a minute, now that I think about it, like that way. Usually it's like, go ahead, you know, when I'm letting somebody in, and I usually just always let somebody in. I don't ever try to like beat them. I used to, like, no man, I was here first. It's just like beat them, and then if they beat me, I just got like some negative shit to say for a minute. I might even fucking come back to that shit later in the day like that motherfucker, I swear. It was my turn. It was my right away. Just let everybody in, yeah. If I leave early enough, it won't even matter. You know? And usually if somebody's like rushing like that, they got some place to be. And they're probably running behind. And I know, like, when I was like that, it's nice when somebody's like, go ahead. So if I could just do that all the time, in every area of my life, that, what is that, turn the other cheek? Pray for others, even for things that I don't necessarily want to pray for, but do it with conviction. Because, like, I know that God knows what I'm really feeling and what I'm really thinking. So I pray to really feel and think a certain way. So when I do pray again for it, I'm doing it for real. Do that enough times and all of a sudden you look at your phone and you're like, yeah. I used to say I would change. The motherfuckers would be like, you ain't gonna change. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And I said it so fucking genuinely. It was so believable. You know? I wasn't really doing anything. I was just like believing it. When I would get loaded and then I would like finally feel like I'm done. You could hook me up to a lie detector test. I promise you I passed that lie detector test. But 3 days later, hook me up to that same lie detector test. We revert to our ways if we're not at there's no action. I reverted to my ways. It's this action. It's like 500 videos. All of the fucking gym time. Hours of fucking talking. Hours of fucking doing this shit. And then just always adding something to it. That's the change. That's the change. Like, I can intentionally want to do something, but that willingness has to come in. That willingness has to come in. These later videos that I've done, like, I've had in the back of my mind these insecurities, so I just keep doing them. They're a lot more than they were when I first started doing this. Which means I probably need to keep doing it until I hit the 2-year marker. Every day, probably not. But while I'm in the thick of like my storm, because if you go back like 9 videos, I ain't feeling like this. You can tell if you just watch 14 of these videos, you can see how fucked up I was. But I was being like grateful, and I was like, and then you can see me getting a little better every single day. So somebody doesn't have to go back and watch all of this shit. You just go back in sections of this shit and see how I like am building this relationship with myself. To where like I'm so grateful. Today's a huge one. It's like, holy shit, in my whole life I've always been scared of the camera. I don't want to be on the camera. I don't want a selfie. And I went and did this with like fucking hours and hours and hours of it. And then I put it on the internet, knowing that like there's got to be somebody out there like this motherfucker. And if I heard him say it, it would affect me a lot more before, a little bit now, but for sure. Like, I got affected yesterday by some shit. But it depends on who says what they say to you. Like, if some random ass motherfucker off the streets just came over and said some shit to me, it wouldn't affect me. Like people that I value what they have to say to me, and I try to treat, I just try to not do that, and so yeah, this is a big one. I don't know how many more of these it'll take, but I know how many it's taken. And I love how I feel today. I love how strong combined with the storm that I'm in. But I feel like I'm at the end of, like, not the end, but I'm in like it's not the thick of it, and it's not fresh. So I've been able to live with it, surrender to the pain, surrender to the feelings, and like now it's like, man, I'm so glad that I went through that. Like, I'm so grateful I went through that. Like, you can't pay for that shit. That kind of experience and learning, and to come out like still like super grateful, and then to read some shit. fucking cloud nine, man. Seriously, fucking cloud nine. So yeah, today's gonna be a great day. I feel strong as fuck going into work. I feel ready going into work. I don't feel like I'm obsessing anymore. I feel like I'm understanding the concept of surrender much better, acceptance, and faith. My faith is stronger than ever. Ever. Like stronger than ever. And I have a lot of hope for the future. I have a lot of hope that when I meet that person I'm going to become and who they're standing next to, like I'm headed to them. I can't wait to meet them. You know? But I know it's going to take some time. And then once I do, like, and I'm there, I'm going to be so grateful for this version of me in this season of my life. So grateful. So yeah, got this. Peace.